baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad.
First get out into the bus, you're like, oh no!
Yeah, I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learned anything.
Shut up and take my podcast.
I'm out.
I am deaf now. So sorry.
As they say on Twitch, rip headphone users.
Rip them. Rip them up.
Rip them up. Rip in pieces.
I'm finna do it again.
Oh no. Oh no. I hope that makes it in. Otherwise, that's very...
What? SMH.
SMH? Oh, shaking my
Shaking my head.
Shaking my head.
I thought that was so much hate for a while.
so much.
So much hate.
Similar idea, but way stronger.
I get that, yeah. It's a much more neutral. It's just more like a you dumbass.
TLDR took me way too long to figure out what that meant.
Yeah.
I was like, why are they just saying TLDR and then just saying 3 words?
I think I've got most of them down. A few of them took me a while, like IRRC.
If
I recall correctly.
That's the one I had problem with too.
Oh.
If I recall correctly. Today I learned. I was like, till going to till shops
Till
are
this?
open
Till
till
what?
midnight. I don't know. That was never one.
TFW.
TFW. That feeling when?
That feeling.
I was going to
Gift
say, that
reacts.
fuck. Wendy. That fuck Wendy.
Wesley.
Welcome everyone to SUATMP, that Futurama podcast that pits episode against episode. I got that right, didn't I?
Shaking
Yes.
my head.
Thank you. That pits episode against episode in a bloody glorious gauntlet battle for your ENTERTAINMENT.
10
And
points.
this is a side mission where we deviate from our regularly scheduled programming to bring you something a little different because you're worth it. Or you deserve it. I interchange those two comments every time. And
We're back from the past. Give you a fucking...
fuck. You know what I never do in side missions? We're joined here by Phil.
Oh, I'm in a quantum time vortex.
It's hard without notes, isn't it?
Yeah, I just decided to make up something time travel related.
But I'm joined here by Ellen.
No, because what happened in this timeline will become the ultimate timeline. I don't know.
It's the darkest timeline.
It's the darkest timeline. And we're joined by Sean. Ooh.
I love Looper.
Literally talking about that earlier. It's
I
like,
do.
this is going to be my approach to if I ever write anything or do anything with time travel. It's
fuck
like,
you.
Yeah, it's like hey, guess what? Fuck you for even trying to understand. Shut up. You're a fucking nerd. Know your place. We're not explaining this at all. It's nice that the movie took time out of its day to insult you for caring about the pretext.
I like the idea of the movie just going about its day. Being like, oh, we're just going to take time out of my day to say fuck you to this audience member.
It's like the fucking film schedule. They're like, yep, so we're shooting this scene, yep, okay, right, personal fuck you to the audience, then lunch.
I kind of wish Avengers Endgame, spoilers for Avengers Endgame,
Go back.
everybody.
We've done an episode
Yeah.
on
Yeah, we
Endgame.
did it.
Yeah,
Go to
that's
that.
fair.
Kind of surprised they didn't go that route and just be like, don't
Fuck
think
you.
about it.
Don't think about it.
Because if you do think about it for more than 5 seconds, it completely falls apart.
Whatever do you mean?
Didn't they consult a lot of physicists?
Yeah, Tony Stark.
The Tony Stark?
Robert Downey Jr.
It's just very unclear about whether you create new timelines or they come back into the same timeline.
Didn't the Bruce Banner line explain it? Or it's like
Did
that?
it though?
I
Not
don't
really.
know.
I don't
No.
know. I need to go back
Yeah.
and listen to it.
I just wish they'd done more of a don't worry about it, it's okay.
I always like the Back to the Future kind of thing. Like, it's a bit schlocky, but it's like time travel shouldn't matter because we're experiencing everything through the lens of our protagonist. So I don't fucking care about all the ultimate timelines and quantum physics. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, you're going to hate this episode.
But it's so hard to, that's where your brain falls apart, right? So Back to the Future is like, all right, I'm following Marty McFly. All right, he's gone back into the same timeline. Oh, he's fucked up. Now we've got a weird alternate timeline. He's got to go back and that kind of thing.
but he also kind of disappears, starts to fade out, and
Does he fade out, or does just the photos
I think
fade
there's
out?
one where he starts to fade out.
No,
isn't there?
he starts to fade out at the dance because his
hasn't
mum
got
and dad aren't going
aren't
in
gonna
for the
boink.
kiss. So if they don't go in for the kiss, they don't have sex. He's not born.
I think he was going to say, if they
And
don't go
he's-
for the kiss, then he doesn't get made. That's not how babies get made, though.
What?
So this is a time
time
travel
travel
episode,
episode,
yeah.
by the way. It's
Did we
something-
say that?
No,
No,
well,
not yet.
we alluded heavily.
Yes.
We time traveled forward past the point where
we'd
we'd said
explained.
it.
Also, I like the idea that someone's listening to this episode without looking at what the title is. It's reckless podcast listening.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
if
they
you're
could have it.
subscribed,
They
then-
could just have it on. They could be lying in a darkened room, just listening to one podcast one after the other, and they don't know what the titles are.
Or they're blind.
Central.
Yes,
Oh,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, I feel like people, if they're blind and they're listening to podcasts, they might have
That's
a
gonna be
text to
bit
speech that might read out.
dangerous
screen.
though as well.
To be blind and listening to podcasts.
Well, I don't-
Or us.
only if you had like both headphones in and you were completely. I don't know.
Well, if you're lying on your bed,
Oh yeah,
As I
that's fine. I
postulated
meant
in my
like
first-
if
That's
you were
the
like
most dangerous.
I meant like if you're walking around.
well, you're most likely to die in the home, aren't you?
What?
Just in general, or,
Yeah, I think so.
or,
Oh,
or as a
yeah.
blind person?
No, just in general. Yeah.
yeah, in general. 'Cause,
Yeah.
That's how I plan on dying.
Yeah. Well, there's just lots of ways to go in a fire.
I
or
would like to go over the
zapped
Bermuda
or
Triangle.
Spider
please.
bites.
Anyway.
Spider bite.
Time travel.
Should we? Do you have a structure for this? Or
Yeah, roughly. My first one was this. Time travel. Does it exist?
not as far as we know. Well,
we
to
all-
to a degree, you can accelerate your passage forward through time by accelerating your reference frame
Yeah.
by going really fast.
So if you went
essentially.
into like space
and went really fast,
at like the speed of light,
yeah, or close to, 'cause
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
get the speed of
well,
light.
yeah. But, like-
you would experience time slower than people on Earth.
Mm.
There's roughly the
So
interstellar
you-
route. Go
yeah,
far enough
you
out.
would go. You would go. Yeah. Yeah, so you can do it that way, but you can't actually travel
you
into
can't
the
go
past.
back.
Not that we know of.
No.
But it just doesn't seem like
But
it.
They,
you can-
they believe that we can potentially go forward by sci-fi means, but to go back creates too many paradoxes.
Yeah, and we would have probably seen time travelers, right? And we had the time travelers party, which we've.
But if you're a time
Mentioned.
traveler, would you go to that party, or are you beholden?
Yeah, that's right.
I
It
feel
might
like
be
it would be
against
really
time
awkward.
time laws. Yeah.
But here's my big one. If time travel exists, is it one path or is it multiverse?
Yeah, difficult, isn't it?
well,
I subscribe to the multiverse theory. Because otherwise, here's my thing. Every movie that includes someone going back into the past and fixing things to create the future, I want to see it from the perspective of the people that don't go. Because all that happens is that person disappears
And they die.
and they all
and
die.
everyone, yeah.
Like
It's awful.
Apocalypse, I guess.
Is
Or-
that what happens in Apocalypse?
No, it's not. What's the one? A Days of Future Past, right?
Yes.
They're like, go
Oh.
back and save everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're like, well, I hope that alternate timeline is
I hope he had a
good
good
Yeah.
for everybody.
Which is
Because
like
we're all dead.
which I suppose is like a big kind of like, martyr thing of like, well, this is fucked anyway. You might as well go and try and fix.
One other
Yeah,
of many
It's
infinite timelines.
It's so
Seems
weird
a bit
as well
pointless,
when you go
doesn't it?
into like fucking like comics as well, because there's like the whole different timelines and different universes, and like
Oof.
I even just thinking about they've started doing a new reboot of the Runaways series, which I fucking love. You guys know?
That's the movie with Kristen. There's a movie version with Kristen Stewart and Dakota
No,
Fanning.
no, no. Sorry, that's about the band.
Damn it.
Runaways is like the Marvel.
Oh, the
they're
Marvel.
like
They're doing it. They
yeah.
tried to do a TV series of it recently
Yeah, they're
too.
like teens, and their
Yeah.
parents are all super villains, and they find out, and then basically they
run away.
Yeah. But in the original series, like one of them, Gert, she died in this big kind of thing, and in the new reboot, we're basically because she had a time travel device that didn't work, and so her boyfriend managed to like fucking get it working, go back. He couldn't go like back before she got injured, but he like went back just at the time when she was like shot in the stomach, and so like he brings her back, and like they're trying to do some like fucking witchcraft to save her life and stuff, but it's just like wait, but who is she? Like, do you know what I mean? I just don't. My head hurts a lot thinking about that, because it's like, well, where's her body? 50 then? Like, because you have canonically buried her.
Right.
And like, so this is just another time.
It's sort of like the Rick and
Line.
Morty thing, right? Where they just
Yeah.
the Rick and Mortys that we follow.
Are just ours and every other.
Yeah, all the others exist,
Yeah.
but they're just not the show that we watch.
No.
They even replace two of them when
That's
they
right.
die horribly,
Yeah.
right?
And then
they
we
just-
go back in season 3 and we meet the old family that we followed
that's
in
right.
season 1.
Yeah, yeah.
That happened exactly how we said. Is like Rick and Morty got a better timeline, but
Yeah,
they
they just-
fucked everyone else.
They
Yeah.
just fucked off
Everyone's
to a different
Cronenberg
timeline.
monsters, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happens?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
And they're
he-
like, oh, well, we fucked this one too hard. Let's go elsewhere.
let's go back.
And then when
Let's
they come
just-
back, it's like a Mad Max style universe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Because they get all buff and like. I know that, everyone else is fucked, but
The family's doing
Morty's
all right.
family seems to be fine.
Yeah.
It actually helped like Beth and Beth and Jerry's
Jerry,
relationship
yeah.
a whole bunch. So silver linings, you know.
So are we on to pop culture examples
I think
of
we
time travel?
only are on pop culture examples.
Because we're like,
Yeah.
does it exist in real life?
'Cause
We're like, not really.
We are not.
Um,
And also, I have a very tenuous grip on science and physics and
Oh, it's all right. I got it
Anytime
all.
at all.
here.
Stop violating causality
Why? What's your favorite pop culture example of time travel?
of time travel. Predestination's bloody amazing.
Oh,
12 Monkeys also
Predestination.
very, very
is
good.
Ethan Hawke and an Adelaide actor as well. What's her
yeah,
name?
Really?
I can't remember. But Predestination's awesome. I only seen it once. It was ages ago, but I remember
Same.
it being brilliant. And 12 Monkeys, because it has the same idea, which is that, sure, go time travel, but everything you do already happened
yeah.
because time is contiguous and you can't rearrange things by going back.
There you go.
If you've gone back, you will have always gone back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything always turns out the way it always did.
So it's a one timeline.
Right. So
yeah.
it's just a big loop.
It's just
Yeah.
a big
It's just a
loop.
big circle.
Yeah.
Sarah Snook is an Adelaide actor.
Yeah.
And she's in it too with Ethan Hawke. It's fucking amazing.
It's a
film.
really good movie. Yeah.
Cool.
Same director
Highly
that did
recommend it.
Daybreakers, which also had Ethan Hawke in it.
Yeah.
Vampire film.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might be a slight spoiler, but it's called Predestination. It's kind of the whole
Yeah.
idea is that it's inevitable. So I really like that take. It's a really
Yeah.
dark take, and both of those movies are kind of weird and dark.
But
I
it-
love 12 Monkeys.
But it does make the most sense, right? Where it's
To me,
like,
yeah.
But it's just closing it up entirely. It's going,
Yeah.
but you having done that means that it will have always happened,
And,
which
yeah.
is just nice to kind of fall back
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Because when you've got branching, like even though I said I like Back to the Future just for the simplicity of storytelling. Thinking about it does mean like, well, holy fuck, what happened to all these other alternate Martys? And like when he goes back and fixes the timeline,
Yeah.
does that whole timeline just cease to exist, or
It just makes a lot of things. It makes a lot of things inconsequential, really, because if there is one timeline, there are infinite timelines.
Yes.
Right,
so
yeah,
saving
yeah.
one of them doesn't really matter.
Well,
No.
my thing was about whether when he jumps back to an alternate timeline,
yeah?
has that alternate timeline always existed, or is it created
Created.
I
at
think
the point
I'm
that you
fairly
jump?
sure, like in Back to the Future, they're like you created it because even just with the diagram they make, it's a straight line,
And then he causes a
until
split, yeah.
it goes down diagonally and creates a parallel
Yeah.
one. So it's kind of like it just occurred until you fix the normal regular timeline.
Of course, both could be true if you subscribe to the idea that there are infinite universes, right? So,
Do we?
If there are infinite,
I do.
If there are infinite universes and infinite alternate realities where every possibility is paid out, you can, there's still room for infinite more.
Yeah,
So you can have it could already exist, and you just jump into it,
yeah.
and you can create a new one because there's infinite space.
This makes me think of my favorite.
Heavy size.
My favorite time travel movie is Primer.
Yeah.
Primer, I don't know if you've seen it. Primer is super low budget with actors that.
Is that the Gyllenhaal one?
No.
That's Source Code. I always get those two mixed up.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Primer,
yeah.
Primer was made for $7,000.
I need to go see. Have I seen? I don't think I've seen Primer.
And Primer is directed, produced, written, starring, edited by Shane Carruth. And it's a movie that just does not talk down in terms of the jargon. And it just feels really kind of natural and organic, and it has this incredible pace. And I can't even really... They basically, by mistake almost, create a time travel box. And it's one of those things where there's two of them that creates it, and they establish all these rules around, okay, if we're going to use it, it has to be done this way. You must follow these to the letter. And then it becomes apparent eventually that one of them is kind of fucked with that. And that one simple mistake kind of just creates this cavalcade of shit.
Yeah.
Cool. I better watch that again.
I
Yeah,
like
because
that-
source code has a time travel thing as well.
Yeah, I
Source
like
code,
that.
yeah.
Because you've just got the page up for Primer. I like that it's got a diagram. It's very nice. You should definitely send that to me, and I'll put it on Instagram.
No, will you know?
Yeah, thanks.
You know?
You were talking about source code. I have not seen it.
Really?
So it's
Which is weird because I lust over Jake Gyllenhaal infinitely.
It's
all
it's an
timelines.
interesting movie where Jake Gyllenhaal has to go back to a specific point and prevent something from happening, and he dies repeatedly and
He's
goes
like
back.
jumping into someone's body, isn't
Yeah,
he? Like
yeah.
someone
Yeah.
who has like this incident has happened and everyone's dead, and they're able to somehow.
Pop him back.
It's that
into
Minority
a moment.
Report kind of thing of like there's a section of the police that are kind of specifically designed, or at least in this case is like you have the ability to stop this problem before it happens, sort of thing.
Yeah. But he can also sort of, they want him for information, but he can affect the future as well. It's very strange.
Yeah. I
Like,
wasn't sure how it.
yeah,
worked.
that the end of that really I didn't like, because they kind of screwed their own rules right at the end.
Yeah.
By and large, have some rules, stick to them.
Yeah.
That's all you really need for a good time travel story. That's why I think the time travel in Terminator is not very good.
Interesting.
It's just, there's no set rule. It's just sometimes there's no fate but what we make.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, well, it has to always happen and you can't change it.
Does 1 and 2 deviate from each other? Because I feel like now, because especially now that Dark Fate has come out, Dark Fate is meant to be a straight continuation from 2.
Right.
And they're just ignoring 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
The darkest timeline.
Yes. So I feel like 3 fucks it, 4 fucks it even more, 5 just shits on it.
I mean, 3 in particular is like, oh, right, well, all that work we did in 2 to prevent the apocalypse, too bad, still happens.
Yeah. And that wasn't James Cameron? I don't think it was.
I guess
No, it
Terminator
wasn't.
2, like, because that's one of my favorite movies. It does that same thing of we're right in the middle of it and we don't need to know everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because we're not sure if it is going to happen or not, by the end. Like, because there was going to be this epilogue where it's like an old Sarah Connor and she's like watching
It's in number 2.
Yeah.
With the really bad makeup.
really bad prosthetics, where she's kind of watching now her grandchild play on the swing, and it's kind of like, and I guess we did save the day.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's like the ending of Blade Runner, the
Yeah.
original ending of Blade Runner.
And then in
oh
number
my god, yeah, and we drove away into the sunset,
and it
a la
was-
Grease.
But then in number
And
3,
apparently
John
she's
Connor's
not gonna
dead.
die.
I mean, number 3, I'm pretty sure they said that John Connor died. No. John Connor's alive. Sarah Connor's dead.
Right.
Yeah, 3
That's
is
right.
Yeah.
hot garbage.
But like, we know, even though we have, time travel happening and people coming back, I like that it's kind of contained into what you know.
Yeah.
So the people in the future coming back to the past, sure, they have the context of the past, but they don't know everything. All right, they're just kind of jumping back with the context of what they know, and the people in the present are just kind of, they're taking on this information of, here are these people and here is a future that's presented. We don't know. We don't know which of these theories is correct. We don't know if this must happen, if this always will happen, or if our choices actually matter. And
Well,
I
they
think
certainly
that's
don't
really
do
cool.
they certainly don't do the if we change it, then no one could have come back.
Yeah.
So none of it happened. So it doesn't get changed. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
do that causality kind of loop thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, it's happening, so go with it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that works as well because it's like, I know it's like sci-fi, but it's also primarily action. It
Yes,
drives
that's
the
right.
action.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah.
think the time travel aspect's very good.
Yeah.
I think the movies, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
Go listen to our Screen Junkies
Yeah,
episode
that's
about
Screen
amazing.
Mayhem.
Screen Mayhem.
Yeah.
Screen Junkies.
No, Cinema Bushido.
Cinema Bushido.
Under
Screen
Screen. Look up Cinema Bushido. BUSHIDO. Or just
And
write
Bingo
Baby
was
Beard
his
Media.
name,
Terminator 2, and it was great.
You made me say Medio.
Yeah.
Our
The
Spanish
Medio.
subsidiary.
The masculine media.
So it's more of a device in
Yeah.
that film rather than the actual exploration of it.
And to be honest, that's what I prefer because I'd be a big dum-dum. My favorite kind of things are like, well, hey, fuck it. Time travel is not real. We might as well have fun. I don't think anyone's read it. Damn it. The Umbrella Academy.
Nope.
Which, as we know now, is a
Netflix
Netflix
series.
series. Check it out. I really like it.
Does it happen to be made by Gerard Way?
The comic is written by Gerard Way, and he he kind of
I know. I was feeding into your fan girl-ish nature of Gerard Way.
Shut up. I'll be in my room. Yeah, I think Umbrella Academy is such a fun fucking series. And it's got that really kind of absurdism thing where it's like, even the opening of Umbrella Academy where it's like, you know, you have all these children spontaneously born to women with no signs of pregnancy. At the same time, we try and find as many of those kids as possible. And, you know, the kind of eccentric weirdo billionaire collects them for some vague reason and they have superpowers, and it's like we're already flirting with none of this needs to have a specific sense. It has absurd sense to it. And one of them, number 5, I think he's a time traveler, right? So like in combat he basically makes like kind of micro skips, so he's like moving quite fast, like faster than you can kind of possibly see, and in the show and the book as well, his dad Hargreaves is like, you know, you can't go too far into the future because you can't. He can go forward but can't go back.
Right.
And he basically goes. He's like, "Fuck you," and he goes into the future as far as he can because he goes to the end of the world essentially.
Oh.
And he's like, "Oh shit!"
So time's linear in that
he
world.
was right, sort of. He manages to find a way to get back, but as he's coming back he's kind of intercepted by what they call the Time Court, which is like this kind of time traveling assassins essentially,
Right, yeah.
which is really cool because they can fix things in the timeline. So in Dallas, the second volume of Umbrella Academy, in that timeline, JFK was never assassinated.
Yeah.
He was meant to be assassinated by number 5, but number 5 was like up to his fucking eyeballs in acid and basically shot all the time police and was like, fuck you, I'm out again. So he has to go back again and fix his mistake. But that's kind of nice because it's like these assassins are time travelers, and so it is that kind of thing of like, this will always happen. JFK will always be assassinated. Why?
One way or the
Because
other.
we have people to fix the mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just got this kind of like, fuck you energy, but not like as blatant as Looper's fuck you energy. It's more
Yeah.
just like, have fun. Here
Yeah.
we go.
So all this is to say that Futurama fucking has so many different occurrences of time travel.
Yeah, they love a bit of TT, as they call it.
It's pretty much
Do they call
happened
it?
No.
in every season.
Yeah,
So-
at least once.
These are the ways that I can remember, or that I've got in front of me. The most obvious one is cryogenics. So that's basically time
Yeah.
travel. You
Yeah.
you freeze yourself and then you go 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
Fry's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most obvious use of Futurama, and it kind of sets the scene.
And that's the most, well, I mean, cryogenics is not,
Doesn't work.
doesn't
so,
work,
yeah.
but that's the most realistic way where you're somehow able to halt yourself.
Yeah, it's suspended animation.
yeah.
I mean,
You're
lots
actually
of,
moving through
Yeah.
time and space. You just are.
and lots of science fiction uses cryo sleep and
Yeah,
stuff.
Alien.
Yeah.
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 Time skipping, so from Time Keeps on Slipping, where they have the chronotons, which
Yes.
are unstable in the field of time, and because they get moved apart, that just causes weird jumps that can actually move people and places at the same time. Because I know it uses, so this is where it gets fucked, is that at one point they're all sitting at the basketball stadium, and then it doesn't move them, but it moves them ahead in time, because then there's the circus that came the next day.
Yes.
But then there's also the point where Leela says she'll never marry Fry, and then it moves them forward in time, but also in place because they're at the church getting married.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and they have no memory of the missing time, but stuff actually happens during it.
Yeah.
So it's quite confusing.
That is
Yeah.
confusing as well, because you would think, you would think you would just kind of skip it, right?
Yeah.
It would almost be like does anyone remember, is it The Silence in the Library? The
No.
Doctor Who episode?
No.
Because there's a bit where basically we think Donna, the companion, has died, and she's kind of in this weird like reality thing, and we're not quite sure what that is. And it gets to a certain point where she's like, "Oh, I don't remember walking down the stairs. I remember the decision to I remember, saying that I was going to go downstairs." But I don't remember actually walking down the stairs. And it's because it's like some kind of computer program dream thing, essentially, where it's like in dreams you don't really remember traveling. It's kind of like location to location to location.
Also, yeah, if you start experiencing that yourself, dear listener, random time skips like that.
You're not a time traveler.
No, you probably have carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, God.
Probably go get everything in your house checked.
I was gonna
go
say-
to hospital, probably. It's a good idea.
I was going to say that's like a fugue state or...
Yeah, there's a very famous Reddit thread about someone who was like, "Oh my God, I think I'm being drugged," or "I keep losing sections of time." And people were like, probably carbon monoxide.
Yeah, or some
yeah.
other things can do that to you. I remember this amazing Australian true crime is a podcast I listen to sometimes, and a police officer, Narelle Fraser, she had such bad PTSD that she didn't realize until at a certain point she was meant to be in a court hearing, and basically they found her like maybe an hour later just in a cafe somewhere. She had no idea where she was, no
Right.
idea how she got there. She just ended up there because it was like her brain just snapped, it's just like, fuck this,
So
I'm out.
that then makes sense to me in terms of Futurama, that they can do things and not remember it.
Yeah.
But also, the only reason it gets weird is that, so for the core group, and I'm going to delve into this, the core group knows that a skip has happened.
Yes.
But a lot of times, everyone else around them is not aware
not
that it
aware
happened.
that
No.
there's
So
just,
it's selective chronotonal.
Maybe it's because they know about the disaster. They can kind of...
Your brain can override
Maybe.
that.
Yeah, whereas everyone else, their brain's just rationalizing it for them.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's scary.
Well, then it gets to Roswell that ends well.
Yeah, which is a bit more traditional. That's time travel when you mix red and blue together.
Yeah, the what is the sun doing?
Microwave.
The blue from the microwave,
Microwave.
because he put something that's not meant to be microwaved in there
Yeah, he puts alfoil.
with
Does doesn't he put corn wrapped in alfoil to make
Yeah.
popcorn?
Again, for international
know.
users, alfoil is just
Aluminum foil.
The brand name for
yeah.
aluminum foil
Aluminium.
here.
what does he
Here
mix
in-
it with?
in
What are they
Australia.
watching? Like a sun
Supernova?
a supernova.
Oh, that's
wasn't it?
right. Yeah,
think
yeah,
you're
yeah,
watching a
yeah.
supernova,
Supernova
yeah.
exploding, right?
That
something.
That's what a supernova is.
Oh fuck, I don't know.
A supernova is a star
An
explosion.
exploding.
Yeah.
Then what is the event, or are they just watching a
supernova.
supernova?
They're watching it, and they're for some reason so close to be affected by it. They decide that's fine.
Yeah, they
have
get
a
washed-
scientist on board.
They get washed over by red, and then the blue comes out of the...
Yeah, well, they would have been fine if Fry hadn't been microwaving
No,
that
but
goddamn corn.
It fucks up their ship even before the blue's there. Like,
That's
they start
true.
freaking the fuck out.
Right, yeah.
And they have a scientist on board to tell them that's not what they should be doing.
No, that's not where they should be.
Well,
Anyway, then they
That
just...
creates a time tunnel,
Yes.
which sets them to a very specific place,
Yes.
which is 1930s Roswell.
So that they can be the UFO.
yeah, and then Fry
can't remember how they
mistakenly kills his grandfather.
Yeah.
How do they get back?
How do they get back?
They get back by recreating it
Yeah.
by getting a microwave oven that does.
They get like a microwave like antenna,
Antenna?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
from the Roswell base, and then they find another supernova that they know is.
I can't remember exactly how that happens. But Bender gets back by being buried in the sand.
Yeah.
He just has to deal with it.
So it's the same method as Fry,
Yes.
where you're just
cryogenically frozen. Yeah.
Or if you're a robot, you're not going to die.
Just lying there
Yeah.
for 1,000 years.
And so Fry manages also to fix the little time mishap he made by fucking his own grandmother, therefore meaning that he will still be...
He's his own grandfather.
He is his
Yeah.
own grandfather, which means that in that universe, time is just one. Which is, we'll get on
Are
to
we
this.
going to
but
say it? Are we going to say it? Wibbly wobbly, tammy wobbly.
the thing is that Futurama says that time is both the same timeline,
Yeah.
but also there's multiple universes.
Yes.
So they do both.
Yes. I mean,
which is fine.
Whatever trope is funniest at the time.
Like
The alternate universe being Universe B,
Yeah.
where it's just literally over there.
Yeah.
And it's just the same, but they wear cowboy hats. Or the one that's inside the parabox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just alternate colours for everything.
Now, this is the one that I actually need to read out because this is the hardest to explain.
Right.
This is the nexus point theory, which is in The Why of Fry, which is when he meets the big brains. Mm-hmm. Seen only once and poorly explained, a nexus point is a space-time...
That's on the wiki,
Yes.
just so you know. Sean's not just fucking
Being a
pissing
dick.
on. Yeah.
A nexus point is a space-time location that can be visited by certain persons from any originating space-time location. Nexus point travel apparently limits the traveler to visiting only the nexus point, and after the time period of the nexus, the traveler returns to the originating space-time. The word point is misleading in this case as there is a starting time and ending time. It is likely there are limits to how far along the X, Y, and Z axis the traveler can move as well. While the Fry of one timeline visited Nibbler, luckily he gave him enough information by the end of the available time to prevent the new timeline's Fry from being trapped in the infosphere. Does any of that make sense?
I'm afraid
No.
to say no, that it
He was
doesn't.
he was in the infosphere. He got
It's a temporary...
Yeah, he got sent back and he only had a certain amount of time to because he wanted to let them know that Scooty Puff Jr. sucks.
In the nexus point, yeah.
Yeah.
Which sent him back to the year, but the old Fry is there as well.
I still
Yes.
don't get
Both
it.
Fry. Should we just move on from
Moving
the
Let's
nexus
move
point?
on.
You get the nexus point.
Let's move on.
Bender's big score.
Of course, yeah. I
Yes.
thought this is coming up.
Tattoo on Fry's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Which
a
is
time
just-
code. Yeah.
Time code which is made by God. God 2, whatever that God's name is.
Right.
Yes, because it doesn't... No one knows how it got there.
No, least of all Fry.
Yeah.
But it's a one-way time travel portal. It gives that green sphere. You step in,
Dinner.
you say where you want to go, and you
And
go
you go
there.
there.
You go there, yeah.
And that's it.
That's kind of nice.
But all you have to do is go 1-0.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it opens.
And it just happens. It's one way. You can't go back.
Yes, and then what happens is Bender uses it thousands of times, and he just creates loads of Benders, and then they all wait in the basement
That's right.
of the Planet Express, and they all conveniently come out at the end, which then destabilizes the entire universe.
And they have
which is
a rip in the universe.
which is what lets Yivo in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's how that all works. But yeah, that is a different kind of time travel again because it creates duplicates.
Yes. So
Because
they
they're
go through
all in the same universe.
Yeah.
But
when
at
they
different
go,
points.
yeah, but when they go back, the original Bender's still there, so there
Right.
are multiples. Yeah.
And he's completely fucking up every single
So
timeline.
it's
Yeah.
almost like you're cloning yourself by
Yes.
every time you time travel, there's another version of you.
Yeah.
Which,
That's why there's both Lars
that-
and
that
Fry.
fucking... not to bring it back to the Umbrella Academy, but they had like a one-off story where one of the characters, the rumor, right? So her superpower is whatever she lies becomes true.
Yeah.
Okay, so
shit.
so one of the one-off stories is they find her dead body and they're like, well, this is weird because you're dead here. You're dead, and it's not a doppelganger. It's not some psychic clone. Blah blah blah. It's you, and you're dead. Sorry, but basically, she created a duplicate of herself because she was out she was sneaking off to see a boyfriend. She got back. Hargreaves, the dad figure, was like, where were you? And she was like, I was studying at the library. So it meant that she had to have been studying at the library. So then there was another version of her at the library, which is the one that got sprung and killed.
all right.
What the fuck?
It's not quite time travel,
No,
but interesting
but-
nonetheless.
But I don't get that one because it's like,
It's just meant to make you go, ooh.
Well, yeah, because it's just like when she lied, like that somehow fixed time a little bit to have.
Well, she said
She
was,
needed
she
to be
said
at
she
the
was meant
library
to
at
be
the same
somewhere
time.
earlier, and then it creates that someone was there earlier, but only from the point in the future. So she technically time travels a duplicate of herself
Yeah.
back in time to retroactively be there.
Yeah.
So that's fucking with time.
Right.
Yeah, it is fucking with
That's
time.
fucked.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Gerard Way?
Yeah,
Come on our podcast.
And the other thing in that episode or that movie is the Lars Fry cloning, right?
Yes.
So the Fry who becomes Lars ends up living a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
As you know, with his hair burnt off and going to spend time with narwhals or is that that's the original Fry?
No. Yeah, no, that's Lars.
That's
Lars
because he gets his hair burnt off and his larynx singed.
yeah.
And then he ends up doing all that stuff, and then he somehow it must have only been 12 years previous. It was a long. We were drunk when we saw Bender's Big Sky.
I think we were, yeah.
Yeah, probs.
Yeah.
We actually, we were.
It's very confusing. If you go back to our review of that episode, you can hear my mind disintegrating as I tried to explain the plot of that movie.
I feel like I was drinking gin
so
at the time.
I don't really want to do it again, to be honest, because I don't think my mind can take it.
So that wasn't our original Fry, Lars.
No, the one that we're following now.
Yeah.
No, because Lars is the late Philip J. Fry. Has
good one.
forward time machine
time travel
created by Farnsworth.
Yes,
which also proves that time is cyclical because they go to the end of the universe and then they go to the beginning
and then
again.
it all starts again twice. I think
that's right.
Yes,
I think they go around twice. Also, fun Easter egg apparently in Disenchantment is there's a point where someone's like looking in a crystal ball or something, and it's like zipping through, and for a second you can see
the machine.
That's cool.
With the Futurama people inside it.
That's
the same
And so
universe.
some people are like, oh, well, it's actually the same.
Could
like
be.
Disenchantment World is like part of Earth's timeline.
Could be.
Futurama.
I mean, we
Fuck
keep seeing like Simpsons merchandise and
Yeah,
vice
they're all the same,
versa.
aren't they?
And-
It's
and
past, present, future.
There's also loads of Futurama references in Rick and Morty as well.
Yeah, true.
There's loads of them. Yeah.
Well, how
they-
could you not
How could you
acknowledge
not,
it? You
yeah.
know,
Right? Oh yeah, I guess they're both Cartoon Network as well. Aren't they?
Yeah. And there's the wait, what episode are we talking about?
this was late Philip J. Fry.
Oh, late Philip J. Fry, yeah. So, also in the future, we have a world ruled by giraffes.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck, that's right.
Yeah. They
I
do some
believe
really
it.
fun stuff with the future in that one.
Then they're the women's planet.
Yeah.
Whereas everything is a paradise run
Yeah,
by sexy
utopia.
women. Yeah.
Which I
And
think
then
we established we wouldn't mind being
they
there.
missed
It
it,
seems
right?
like it's run quite
They
effectively.
skipped past it.
I think
right?
someone's like,
Farnsworth and everyone wanted to stay there, but Ben is like, nah, I don't want to be here. Let's go.
he basically ruins it for
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have just gone back around and gone
That would
there
be-
again, but that's
And
fine.
then
That's true.
And then Fry, or no, Leela leaves a message in the stalactites.
Yes,
That's
that drips
right.
down.
Drips down.
Which would have gone backwards,
Or was it
but
Fry?
it didn't.
No, it's Leela. It's Leela.
Because she was waiting there from the whole time.
Yeah.
And then,
Because she,
Not the whole
what is
time,
it?
but-
I'm glad that I got to spend the time
The
with
time
you
that we
because
did
she
have
hasn't
was the
seen.
time of my
yeah,
life,
she hasn't
yeah.
seen Fry, and she's aged at that point. Like she's lived a lifetime without Fry almost.
Yeah.
and then finally, the fucking weirdest one of all the president's heads, where if you drink the water of the heads, a lick can send you back for a couple of seconds, whereas an entire gulp can send you back up to 24
Now,
hours.
was it Josh who explained somewhat
It's
the opalite?
opals. It's the opals in it. Yeah.
Why? What was the reason?
Oh, God.
Opals have some sort of quality to do with.
Time travel?
They do preserve things,
Yes,
right?
I think it was to do with opalizing.
because there's so many fossils that have been opalized because of,
and I think it's
crystal
that
formation.
tenuous link.
So
that means-
scientifically accurate. Done.
yes,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if
the
it has-
costumes were amazing.
and it sends them back and also changes their costumes
Yeah.
as well, because they appear
Yes.
in costume and in dialect.
That's the
Yes,
dream,
they're
y'all.
ready. Yeah.
That's like my fucking Sailor Moon moment where I get to just be like, Moon, and like transform and shit. I'd love that. That's my favorite time travel. I'll say it. The one that changes your clothes.
Right. Okay. Sure. And then you die of dysentery.
And then decision 3012.
Like, this is amazing. I'm in period dress. Oh wait, no, everything is awful.
I'm in a period dress because they don't.
Oh
have,
wait, I'm impressed.
They don't have fucking. I found this out recently, but like tampons and stuff, not a thing until like the 50s.
Tampons were invented during the war, apparently.
as a weapon.
This might be wrong, actually. I might have looked this up subsequent to telling this point, and it's apocryphal.
No,
So-
tell it now, and then just stick by your line.
Yeah, I'll say
Wait,
what
are you looking it up? Because I need to go
Yeah.
pee.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Apparently,
Apparently,
fellows,
they were
while Ellen is peeing
there's pulling on my neck.
and Phil is looking up, I'll also let you know that there is one other time travel story that we will not mention yet, which is from Meanwhile, the final episode, which I have not watched and have never watched.
We can't.
But there's a time button. Spoilers for all of you. Oh, yes, also there's a time tunnel in the Futurama game, which we haven't played.
Yes.
And there's time vortexes in the comics as well. Oh, and a thing called a time rifle, which is also in a comic, which I can't really find anything about. Oh, my goodness. You know, it's really hard doing a podcast by yourself, actually. That's why I need people around me to make me look good. Or at least slightly entertaining. Hey, guys. I'll spend this time now to let you know that this episode is sponsored by The Groves, a Australian horror film that Mr. Phil and Mr. Sean were a part of, which if you go on to freezeframepictures.com.au, I want to say, you can see the movie in its entirety for free. It has our lovely faces on it.
Yeah. Mostly Sean's.
Mostly mine.
Very little of mine. So, tampons. So
yeah.
the story that was incorrect that I was going to share is that the modern day tampon was invented to plug bullet wounds in the war. Not true. They had tampons in ancient Egypt. They used wool and covered it with lactic acid and honey, as apparently they thought it had spermicidal qualities.
Yeah.
So how accurate was this use?
I thought that was the condom. Oh, no, the condom was like dung, wasn't it?
They were
with the honey.
The condoms. They also had
Tongue with the honey.
like they used like intestines, like for
Like,
when
yeah.
like with sausages.
Yeah.
Right.
But like the tampons, as we know of, are quite a modern
The
invention.
moderns, they were
right?
1929 by Dr. Earl Haas.
Huz?
But the thing I was thinking of is tampons were used as medical supplies, but that's not why they were invented. Yeah.
They'd be great for it though. Like I feel
Very
like
absorbent.
I feel like there's been one thing, like one piece of media where like someone has had a wound or something and someone's had a tampon on them, so they don't plug the hole with it, but they apply it by the wound because it's
It's a
what
gauze.
it
what it
It's a
does.
gauze, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, or like the quintessential movie She's the Man. Where
Is that the Amanda Bynes
it is
film?
the Amanda Bynes
Jesus
one.
Christ.
Where she's pretending to be her dude brother. And they're like, why do you
Classic.
have tampons, dude? And she's like, I get really bad nosebleeds. And then we have Channing Tatum with a tampon up his nose being like, hey, you're right, they really work. Anyway, back on track.
Anyway,
Which of these ones do you think is the most likely to be accurate?
well, definitely not the drinking the
Not Bender's big
opals.
score.
the opals. No,
The time code,
probably not. No,
the binary code, the microwave with a...
the microwave,
I don't know.
and
I
the
feel like
supernova.
that's the one that I want to.
You want to be true.
Well, maybe not, but it's just like I could see how there could be some kind of, not necessarily from that cause, but like, you know, if you're out in a space and you come upon some kind of cosmic happening, like I'm thinking more like a wormhole would be the most likely thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sticking with the forward time machine.
I mean,
Something that
that's-
can eventually be created to just go forward in time.
It's possible.
That makes
yeah.
sense, but then looping around.
Yeah, that part is
That
part is a
Yeah.
little bit harder to get behind.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean,
There is
most
a-
scientists do believe that time is linear.
Yeah.
It does. When it ends, it fucking ends. We're done.
Yep.
yeah.
So we can travel far
Our
enough.
bad.
Well,
Yeah.
I think most scientists. I'm not sure that's even true. I think a lot of scientists would argue that time, as we understand it,
It's
is
relative.
it's a mental construct.
Right, yeah.
The universe doesn't actually make distinctions between past and present and future moments.
Yeah.
They're
But
all on
we
a
can.
continue. But we can.
Yes.
Well, it's
Because
even,
we are traveling through because we observe changes.
but also, and who was saying this earlier? But like, we experience time much differently. Like,
Yeah.
You know the cliche of when I was a kid, summers went on for 25 years.
Yeah.
Or like,
Well, it's because summers were relatively longer to your total lifespan.
Exactly. Whereas the older you get, you're now more. You've lived more years, so like
Individual days aren't.
A year to like a 5-year-old is fucking forever.
Yeah.
It's 20% of their life.
Yeah. Whereas like right now, a year, I'm like,
fucking
what?
old.
That's 3 months.
It is November of 2019.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
Fuck.
It's that January. Oh, it's November.
It's 2025.
Whoops.
Whoops. I think that happens once you get to your 50s. It just boom, there goes your life.
You die.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Dead.
everything
Jesus.
just slips past you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's what we got to look forward to.
So any of our 50 and over listeners, you're done. You're finished.
But also time, like we do relive, I don't know, like in a more kind of metaphorical sense, we relive time. We travel in time. We relive memories.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's also very much more of a perceptual thing than anything, because we store our memories in very broad terms.
Yeah.
We tend to apparently remember specific details and then construct the rest around them.
Yeah.
So instead of a night out, like you don't remember all the night out, you remember
that time you
it was
vomited
hot,
on the person.
It was hot in the
Yeah.
club. The food we ate wasn't very nice. The waiter was a bit snotty. And then the rest is sort of cobbled together from your memories.
Yeah.
And so that's why people like witness testimony is really bad.
Yeah.
And memories change over time.
Yeah.
Because the more we remember them, the more we reinforce bits that weren't
But we're
incorrect.
also going back to. I know we're not going
But
back.
not really.
but-
We're going
but-
back to a simulation.
Yeah,
right?
but that's what memories feel like. They feel like you're traveling in time, or even just kind of like certain shifts in your perspective. Like I can't remember. I think this was a monologue I was in a play I was reading where someone was talking about like they love funerals and like they remember being at one and kind of standing like linked elbows with their mum made them feel so small again. And it's like those kind of moments make us kind of jump. You can have moments that make you feel like you're 80 years old.
You smell something and you go,
Smell, yeah. Well, that's
"Whoa."
the Madeline thing, right? Is Proust. Yeah, that's right. The scent is very, very evocative. I think my favorite time travel thing is actually About Time. That movie with Donald
Always
Gleason.
back to About Time.
Yeah, Donald Gleason and
Rachel McAdams.
because it's about emotional storytelling. It's about time as we kind of perceive it through our lifetime, and it's quite a mundane. That film's all about like mundane joys, and like that's what I feel like is a true strength of time, of like using time as a
Is The Notebook
storyteller.
a time travel movie?
The Node, haven't seen it.
Emotionally, I guess.
I haven't seen it either, but I know it's about
Time travel?
someone
No.
writing to someone in two different eras. Is that right? Someone writes to a woman from the past.
Yeah, it's
she gets the-
someone telling the story.
Oh. The best time travel movie ever. The Lake House.
Is that the one I'm thinking of? That's what I'm thinking
Keanu
of.
Reeves and
that's the one
Sandra
you're
Bullock.
That's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
He posts a letter 2 years in
They're
the...
like 2 years apart.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the same
Yeah.
house.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking of.
Apparently, that's based on a Korean
true
movie.
story.
No. I lived in the same house as Keanu Reeves, but 2 years later. No, apparently that's based on a Korean movie, and I think it makes a little bit more sense in
Right.
that one, maybe.
What's the one? What's it called? Where it's about a guy who says he's invented a time travel machine, but the time travel doesn't actually happen until like right at the end of the movie, and it's all about him and it's an indie movie. It and it's like the name of the movie is like what's written in the advert.
The Time Machine?
No. Safety Not Guaranteed.
Oh.
I
Safety
haven't
Not
seen
Guaranteed. It's a really cool indie movie.
Okay,
And it's about time travel. It doesn't really feature time travel
that's kind of cool.
because he's basically like...
Wait, that film's about time travel? I know.
Yeah,
that's got,
yeah.
That's got, what's her face?
April, no.
April
Damn
Levine.
it.
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza, yeah.
Damn it!
So basically, the guy puts an advert in the paper saying, I've invented a time travel machine and I need someone to help me test it. and it's all about her relationship with him. She's kind of disaffected, doesn't know what to do, and I think he's roped someone else in as well. And obviously, because it's a freaky thing to say, like no one believes him, and so he's got these two kind of misfits with him, and he's kind of doing his last preparations and whatever. So it's more of a character piece about him and about them. But time travel and the absurdity of it is kind of the core hook of it, even though it doesn't involve it. So it's kind of interesting take on it.
Simpsonrama also had time travel. Bender travels back in time, and he also mentioned that at some point he killed some guy named Isaac, so Isaac Asimov.
Right.
Oh, that's right. So it
it's not explained.
Canonically, Simpsons is the past of Futurama.
Well, Simpsonrama's disputed canon.
Yes, I think they played a bit fast and loose with that one.
But it's unexplained time machine that Bender just has in himself.
Right.
And he travels to the past.
That time travel thing could have come in handy in Roswell.
Many other instances,
I hope it's disputed canon because Scruffy's dead.
Oh, well.
Blew his brains out.
All's well that ends. Except it ended horribly.
But you know what?
Scruffy.
What?
I think I just want to say that they do time travel pretty fucking well.
I mean, they do it however they need to.
Yeah.
The funniest way wins, which
That's
is
right.
a lot easier on the viewer because...
And they use it to poke fun at the many strange ways that people do time travel in sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I like that inventiveness as well, that, you know, everyone's kind of like, that there are so many spins on time travel because people are being creative. And
you give it to another writer, they're like, oh, fuck, I want to do my own way. Microwave in a supernova.
have they ever done like a time pause? Have they ever done that?
I think that's a big part of Meanwhile.
Right, okay.
That's as far as I believe it's like that's what the time button is what I'm assuming is a pausey type deal.
Pause button.
I guess we'll never know.
What would you do if you had a pause button?
If I had a pause button, I'd pause.
Oh, I would just play lots of video games probably.
Yeah, I think I would just use that time to consume media. How sad is that?
Yeah, I know. Right?
I'd try and improve myself.
Or try and learn something.
Yeah, that's you know,
physically.
But it's like, you know, you think about it, like all the things that are like, yep, I'll add that to my list. I'll add that to my list.
Do you know what question though?
Never gonna.
Can you wouldn't be able to use the internet if
you can't get new packets of data.
And can you use electricity?
Just download it.
Because the electrons aren't moving.
I could read so many books.
Yeah.
That
can
still
you
works.
breathe?
I mean,
how much you stopping?
Can you move at all? Can you just like frozen?
Oh my god! Would you have to like unpause, turn the page, pause? Is that what you'd have to do?
Maybe you're doing it. Maybe you're like Quicksilver, right? And you're just moving so fast, everything else is paused.
Yeah.
Or are you just like? Because I'm thinking like,
but then you'd be moving so fast. Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say like, because if air pauses.
Yes.
Once you breathe that air, that pocket there just doesn't have air.
Yeah.
So you'd eventually just be walking through pockets of like not being able to
vacuum.
breathe constantly. You'd have to unpause to let the world. I'm not a scientist.
Circulate. Yeah.
Let a few people breathe in
Get
and
a
out.
fan.
I mean,
put some pot plants in there.
I think what would ultimately happen is I would leave literally everything to literally the last minute. Literally the last minute. I'll be like, oh, stop. Oh, shit, that's a thing I can't do while paused.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Right, now I have infinite time to think of an excuse.
Yeah. I guess it's that thing of like...
What did you do?
I guess it's that thing of like, yeah, if you had all the time in the world, would you spend it well? Probably not, because you'd just be like, I can fuck around. If I was a vampire...
I'm feckless anyway,
Yeah,
and I have mortality breathing down my neck, so I don't think infinite time's going to help me very much.
Yeah, mortality at 30.
Yeah, well, I'm keenly aware.
40's coming
Hey,
closer.
I had a bereavement recently. I'm allowed to be aware
You're
of
going to say I
death.
had a burrito recently.
I had a burrito. It's not sitting well. This might be the...
It's over. It's over, guys. It's over.
Memento mori, man.
My other question was, where would you go if you could time travel? If time travel includes space.
As if you wouldn't go back in time to flex on, hey... Be like,
Flex
hey,
on
what's
who?
up?
Yeah, you have to deliver it before you make yourself laugh.
Yeah, no.
To flex on...
To flex on the haters.
Oh, the
Right,
haters.
the
See, I thought you
haters.
said
I don't have
Hades.
that many
To
haters.
flex on Hades. Well, no, I don't mean your haters. I just mean in general, you could flex on so many people.
Like Hitler.
Just because you're so, like, the mundane now would be so exciting. You could go back in time and be like, hey, I got a fucking full set of teeth and I'm 24. Fuck you.
Are you saying this to like people in the past that don't have dental?
Do you know what this actually reminded me? That reminded me we missed the best movie time travel.
Bill and Ted's
Bill and
Excellent.
Ted.
Yeah! That's amazing.
Where
That's
they can
the
just
best
go,
one.
where they go, oh, don't forget the bucket.
Oh yeah, that's
Clang,
right.
and the bucket falls.
Don't forget it. Don't forget to wind your watch, dude.
So basically, whatever they say to remind themselves to do happens now because they always go back and make it happen.
Yeah.
In the future.
That's
and
I
it's
love
great.
that one.
It's genius.
I need to watch those films.
Oh, it's so
There's
fun.
a point where they're
So
trying to
fun.
outwit someone and they're like, don't forget the bucket, man. And they're like, what? Oh yeah, remember the bucket. Remember the bucket. And then a bucket falls on the person's head.
That was a really good
Because-
Keanu Reeves.
In the future, they go back and set it up.
Yeah.
Because they know now that they need to do it.
Yeah.
So
And
they
that's-
did do it.
And that's why like future Ted is like, remember to wind your watch, dude. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great film. I also love the way that they're able to because they run into their future selves.
Yeah.
And they're just like, if you're really us, then tell us what we're thinking right
No,
now.
no.
69, dude. It's also just very wholesome.
Yeah, it's
you know,
great.
Joan of Arc runs an aerobics class.
I thought
they
you
all go
start
to,
from
Yeah.
69 and then say it's really wholesome.
it is really wholesome.
Yeah.
It's cute. Anyway.
Be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes. Yeah, that's probably the best one.
Yeah, what was the question before that?
don't-
What would we
where
do?
would you- where would you
go?
Uh.
Well, I would love to see what the dinosaurs are really like.
Yeah.
Whether they had feathers,
They
like
do move in herds.
yeah, like what they actually look like. Because I bet they're nothing like the
Do they talk?
drawings. Yeah, do they respond to a small clicking device?
bring. What the fuck is his
I guess
name?
I would
That's
like
the 8-year-old me. I would love dinosaurs.
Well, I
so
guess
I would love
like
to see
to
them.
maybe go back to like, I want to say, like the. Oh, you know what?
And that's a lot of tourism
No,
to do because
there's
it's millions of years.
I'd want to meet Oscar Wilde. Like
Cool.
anyway, like
Yeah.
you know,
Go meet him in Reading jail and be like,
I wouldn't flex on Oscar Wilde. Have a little sympathy.
I spent ages trying to make a joke. I was going to say bring Chris Pratt with you, but I couldn't remember his name. I was going to say Chris Pine for like
We'll tell
a
you what you
minute.
have to do. You have to now you've remembered. Go back into
Remember the joke.
Remember Chris
the joke.
Pratt, dude.
I would go.
Go forward. Go back.
Well, if I had a choice, I'd go forward.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't need to see what's happened. It's happened.
But there's things that you have never seen,
There's
like, and especially
things
because
that I never will see.
but that's true. But there's things like I work in theater, and like that's the thing about theater. It's gone. Once it's made, it's gone.
Yeah, you want to see
There's
the original Shakespeare.
There's no going
productions,
back. Yeah, that would be cool. Or, they talk about. I can't remember his name. It's John Wilkes Booth's brother.
Abraham Lincoln. What?
Because I know John Wilkes Booth was a famous actor, but his brother even more so, and his brother has been called like one of the definitive Hamlets. It's like, that's cool. I mean, he dead now and I can't see it. So I'm just going to have to take...
Edwin Booth.
Edwin Booth, yeah. And it's like, I'm going to have to take your word on that. It would
Yeah.
be so great to experience those things, but I guess that is...
I would love to see Greek democracy in action. I mean, I wouldn't know what the fuck
going
ancient
on.
Greek is,
Toga.
but to see like the Parthenon stuff as it was originally built, like when it's not ruins.
Yeah.
Would you do the obvious? Would you go back and kill Hitler?
I try not to interfere. I think I wouldn't bother
Yeah.
with interfering with stuff, and I would just stay away from that whole time.
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah. You'd have to have a whole costume box just so you're ready to go.
I mean, people say go back and kill Hitler, but like, what about go back and
Kill Trump.
and stop nukes being dropped on
Hiroshima.
on civilian populations?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty horrendous.
There's a lot of things
Yeah.
that we should go back and
Firebombing of Dresden. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of bad shit.
Go back and stop the meteorite.
The fucking settlement of Australia.
What if you stopped the meteorite?
What if you saved the dinosaurs?
Save the dinosaurs.
How am I going to stop a meteorite? I
Bring
mean, I know I could kill a baby.
Deep impact it.
Like emotionally, I couldn't kill a baby,
They
but I know
don't
I
stop
could.
the meteor and deep impact. It hits Earth.
Bruce
But only
Willis
a
dies.
portion of it.
Bruce Willis also dies. Do you want to die?
That's
trying to
Armageddon.
do this?
Yeah, it's
oh wait,
Armageddon.
whoops! I don't care.
They're not similar movies at
Deep
all.
impact. There's an actual impact.
Yeah, they split. It's deep.
Yeah.
And
They
in
split
Armageddon,
it.
there's an Armageddon.
It's actually a misnomer, actually, because there isn't. They save the
It's not.
world. So.
But Bruce
In the
Willis
core, they go to the core.
does. What?
Yeah, it
They
stops
do.
spinning for some reason.
Wow.
That is the dumbest fucking premise for a movie I've
I
ever
can
seen.
stay.
The core is. Have they done that on?
No,
What
they
they have to
haven't.
do that. We have to do that.
Yeah,
That might
do
be
the
my
core.
next one. I might do some really shitty thrillers as my next one. That'd be good.
Now pick like a great film. Do The Godfather 3.
Nah.
That's a hard pass.
All right, let's go back in time to the topic.
Oh, well, is there
Hey.
anything? Well, have we
Should we
covered it?
stop recording?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Holy shit.
Do we want to do a more official
We'll
sign off?
skip forward to the end.
Oh, hey guys, I've been Shane.
Hey. No, I think no. Let's
Thanks,
do.
past Ellen.
I want to do some hey, what do we engagement? That's what they call it, right? So if you thought any of this was interesting, it's all three
Heaven
of you,
have mercy on your soul.
just tell us. Who are you? What?
Where did you come from?
How did you find this interesting? And basically, tell us about that glaringly obvious example of a good time travel piece of media that we missed, like
Or- Really
like
fucking
H.G.
awful
Wells'
one.
is The Time Machine,
Yeah.
which we didn't talk about at all.
What you would do.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
Or-
had a time machine.
Do an engagement,
Or have you experienced a time skip? Or anything.
or talk about Futurama.
Yeah, just talk to us in general.
Yeah,
we
just-
honestly.
we're so
Say
lonely.
words to us.
Honestly, we love
It's-
engaging with you guys.
We
And,
do,
like,
we do.
Honestly, like my favorite murder, like their hometowns just stopped being about true crime very long time ago. Now it's about shit you find in your walls. Now it's ghost stories as well. Like, whatever you got, send it to us,
just
please.
fling it our way.
Yeah, we got that nice the doormat that Neely Stone showed us, which
Yeah.
was of the fry and bender quite high.
I didn't know Bender could get high.
No, well, I didn't know he could breathe until the 7th episode.
I'm sure you could.
But yeah, basically what we're saying is do an engagement.
Yeah. So our producer stops getting on our backs.
And technically, you guys have been part of some wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff
Right
because
now.
You're listening to us from the past.
from the past, yeah. And
Whenever
when you
you're listening
engage
to
with
this
us, will be the present, the future us, which will be the present us.
Yes.
Oh yes, if you do want to come back to us next week, please do. We will be doing Naturama, which may have a surprise or two coming along with it. We'll see. I've been Sean.
I've been past Ellen.
I will be Phil.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you in the future.
My head hurts. I want to go home.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @babybeardmedia. And if you're looking for a way to support us, the best way you can do it is by jumping onto iTunes or the podcast app and giving us a 5-star rating and a nice review. It goes a long way to helping us. Otherwise, if you'd like to join us next week,
Anyway,